Bonjour, friends. Welcome to World's Fair Girl 99, your place for anything and everything global. As always, I am your host of this fine program. Folks, my name is Fabulous Frost Nicoletti. Since this project is a World's Fair themed endeavor, I thought it would be cool if today I shared with you my collection, or rather, mini collection, of World's Fair antiques. So a few years ago, me and my partner were down in Miami Beach, and we're wandering around, and we find this antiques dealer pretty much right on the beach. I'm rifling through his stuff, trying to see if there's anything I'd like because I've been an antiques collector for years upon years. I love collecting antiques, it's one of my favorite things. So I'm looking through his stuff, and nothing's really exciting me until I came across this little ashtray. It was a souvenir ashtray from the 1933 Chicago World's Fair, and it was made by Chrysler Motors. Before this point in my life, I never really gave World's Fairs that much thought. They were kind of just something off in the distance. But now, here I was, holding a little piece of a World's Fair right in my hands. And that sparked an, I guess you could say, enthusiasm or obsession, depending on who you ask, for World's Fairs. This is a brochure for the YMCA building at the 1939 New York World's Fair. I picked this bad boy up a couple years ago when I was in West Springfield, Massachusetts, at this antique shop me and my partner really love going to. It's called Stanley's Vintage Finds, and it is one of the coolest antique shops you will ever find. It's not that big, but anytime I have come there, I have walked out with something new in my antiques collection. If I can find something there, I know you will too. I didn't pay very much for this brochure because, as you can see, there is some damage to the condition. It's not a relic in pristine condition, but it is from the New York World's Fair, and anytime I can talk about New York history or hold a piece of it in my hand, I'm very happy. My family is from New York, more specifically the Queens, Manhattan area. So, in a weird way, it feels like home. My ancestors were living in the city at the time of both of the World's Fairs, though the 1964 New York World's Fair, it's not really a World's Fair, but I digress. My ancestors were in the city for both of those things, and that makes it really cool to me knowing that they could have walked right into either fair and have been a part of it. I love these two World's Fairs especially because I'm getting to go see the sights of them later this month. The day before my birthday, me and my partner are going to take a drive down to Queens and tour the site of the former World's Fairs. Super, super, super excited for that. The last World's Fair relic in my collection presently. See, I told you I didn't have that big of a collection yet. Though that's going to change later this month because I'm getting a shipment of World's Fair relics coming in very, very soon. I'm going to do an unboxing video of that for you guys. But anyway, this is another ashtray, but this one is from the 1967 World Expo in Montreal. See that building in the center of it? That's the Moscow Pavilion. During the fair, that was the Soviet Union's exhibition space. They had a bunch of displays at this pavilion. I think the bottom floor was mostly just dedicated to technological things on Earth. But if I'm remembering this correctly, on the second floor is where they had a whole display of the Soviet space program. Now, you got to keep in mind the time of this fair. This is 1967. This is during the actual space race to send a man to the moon first. And this was a display in the Western world from one of the two major powers. So I just find that ridiculously cool. Much like the previous thing in my collection that I just showed you, the brochure, this also came from Stanley's Vintage Finds earlier this year when me and my partner went down there. It's actually a bit of a cute story. See, I was having a really rough week that week, and while we were down there, my partner found this ashtray and kept it hidden from me while we were shopping around, and then bought it at the end and surprised me with it in the car. The Soviet Union/Cold War is one of my favorite topics to talk about in history, so it's really cool having this Cold War era piece of the World's Fair in my collection. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.